Welcome everyone to today's deep dive exploration into one of the most intriguing and provocative claims circulating in certain digital communities. The idea that 1 pi equals $314,159 and that the GCV world will agree with this price. Whether you're a crypto enthusiast, a math lover, or someone who simply enjoys a good mystery, this video is for you. Over the next several segments, we'll break down the layers of meaning behind this claim, explore the symbolism of the number pi, and ask what it really means when numbers and markets collide. Hi, I'm Alex, and today we're taking a journey that bridges mathematics, blockchain, and the sometimes wild world of market speculation. We're going to examine a concept that sounds almost too outrageous to be real. 1 pi valued at $314,159, and see if there's any sense behind it. So grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's dive right in. Our story begins with two very different but oddly interconnected worlds, mathematics and cryptocurrency. The number pi, denoted by the Greek letter pi, is one of the most famous constants in mathematics. It represents the ratio of a circle's circumference to its diameter and is approximately equal to 3.14159. But what happens when we take this ancient constant and apply it to something as modern and volatile as digital currency? In some online communities, particularly among enthusiasts of the Pi network, a cryptocurrency project that started as a mobile mining initiative, the idea has been floated that the global consensus value, or GCV, of 1 pi should be set at an astronomical $314,159. At first glance, this might seem like a playful nod to the digits of pi. After all, 3.14159 is the familiar approximation of pi. But it also raises deeper questions. Is this simply symbolic, or is there an underlying argument that markets will eventually recognize this valuation? Before we get lost in the mathematics, let's address what GCV means. In some crypto circles, GCV stands for Global Consensus Value, a theoretical figure representing the true worth of a cryptocurrency if all factors and potentials were fully recognized by the market. It's a concept that's as much philosophical as it is economic. Today we'll unpack this idea, look at the math behind pi, and consider how symbolic valuations like these come to capture the imagination of a community. Could it be that a number as eternal as pi has a role to play in modern economics? Let's find out. Let's pivot to the world of cryptocurrency. The Pi network is one example of a project that has captured the interest of many. It began as a project aimed at democratizing access to cryptocurrency mining by allowing users to mine Pi coins on their mobile devices without draining their batteries. The promise was clear: bring crypto to the masses by making it accessible to everyone. While Pi is still in its developmental stages and its market value remains undefined on major exchanges, its community has nurtured a robust ecosystem of enthusiasts and believers. In this environment, ideas like the 1 pi equals $314,159 claim can thrive. It's a rallying cry, a symbol of what could be if the community's vision is realized. But why this specific number? The use of 314,159 isn't arbitrary. It's directly lifted from the digits of pi. In a way, it's a coded message, a blend of humor, reverence for mathematics, and a bold assertion of potential value. Proponents of this idea argue that if pi's value were ever to be realized, it might align with the perfection and infinite nature of the constant itself. In the world of crypto, where hype, speculation, and community sentiment often drive value as much as technology or fundamentals, symbolic gestures can carry weight. Whether or not 1 pi will ever equal $314,159 in real-world markets is uncertain. However, the very discussion is a reminder of how far our financial systems have come, from physical coins and paper money to digital tokens imbued with both technology and, yes, a little bit of mathematical poetry. When I first heard the claim, 1 pi equals $314,159, I thought it was a clever marketing gimmick, but when you look deeper, it reveals something about how communities build narratives around value. In traditional finance, you wouldn't see such a connection between a mathematical constant and a currency's value. But in the digital age, symbolism matters. From a mathematical perspective, pi is fascinating because of its infinite, non-repeating nature. The idea of equating a finite, static number like a dollar value to an infinite series of digits is inherently paradoxical. Yet it's that very paradox that sparks conversation and debate. The concept of global consensus value, or GCV, is still evolving. Many of us in the blockchain community see it as a way to capture the long-term potential of a digital asset. When someone ties that potential to something as iconic as pi, it's a bold move meant to inspire and challenge our conventional ways of thinking about value. The future of digital value is still being written. As new technologies emerge and communities evolve, we may very well see innovative models of valuation that defy conventional wisdom. Whether or not the specific claim of 1 pi equals $314,159 ever comes to pass, it underscores a larger movement towards reimagining what value means in a world where technology and human creativity intersect. In a future defined by rapid innovation and shifting paradigms, it's not hard to imagine that today's symbolic gestures might become tomorrow's established truths. The question isn't just whether 1 pi will be valued at $314,159. It's whether we, as a global community, are ready to embrace a new model of economic thinking that honors both the rigor of mathematics and the dynamism of human belief. No discussion of any bold claim would be complete without considering the counter-arguments. Critics of the 1 pi equals $314,159 proposition point out several key issues. No discussion of any bold claim would be complete without considering the counter-arguments. Critics of the 1 pi equals $314,159 proposition point out several key issues. Economic fundamentals. Critics argue that market value should be derived from measurable factors such as utility, network effect, and scarcity, not solely from symbolic associations with a mathematical constant. Market volatility. The cryptocurrency market is notorious for its unpredictability. Linking a coin's value to a fixed number from pi might oversimplify the complex forces that drive market movements. Speculative bubbles. There is a risk that such symbolic valuations could contribute to speculative bubbles, where hype outpaces underlying fundamentals, leading to dramatic corrections when reality sets in. Practical adoption. Until the Pi network or any digital asset achieves widespread use and integration into the global economy, lofty valuations remain purely theoretical. On the other side of the debate, supporters claim that every revolutionary idea in finance began as a radical departure from conventional wisdom. They argue that even if the 1 pi equals $314,159 notion seems outlandish today, it might serve as a catalyst for a new way of thinking about value, one that embraces the power of community consensus and the beauty of mathematics. It's a debate that cuts to the heart of modern economics. Are we merely assigning arbitrary numbers to digital tokens, or are we witnessing the emergence of a new economic order that redefines how value is perceived and measured? As with many innovations, the truth may lie somewhere in between. Ultimately, the ongoing conversation is a healthy one. It challenges us to question our assumptions, to explore new possibilities, and to remain open to the unexpected intersections between art, science, and economics. At its core, the idea that GCV World will agree with this price is a narrative of hope. It speaks to the belief that, despite the challenges, there is a potential for a more inclusive and community-driven approach to finance. It's a vision where the value of an asset is not dictated solely by traditional gatekeepers, but is instead determined by the collective will and ingenuity of its community. This narrative is what fuels many of today's digital currency projects. It's why thousands of users log into their apps every day, believing that they're part of something bigger, an experiment in redefining value and trust for the modern era. Even if the symbolic figure of $314,159 remains just that, a symbol, It encapsulates a dream of a future where our economic systems are as dynamic and interconnected as the world we live in. While it may be tempting to dismiss such grand visions as mere fantasy, history has shown us that every transformative idea was once met with skepticism. The leap from paper money to digital currency, from centralized banking to decentralized finance, has been paved with bold claims and daring experiments. The journey is never without its risks, but it's also one of boundless possibility. So whether you see the 1 pi equals 314,159 notion as an amusing mathematical jest, or as a serious statement about the future of digital value, it serves as a reminder that innovation often comes wrapped in layers of symbolism and speculation. It challenges us to imagine a world where the old rules no longer apply, and where the convergence of technology, math, and human spirit gives rise to entirely new possibilities. As we draw this exploration to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the power of symbols and the promise of innovation. The claim that 1 pi equals $314,159 is not simply a statement about a number or a crypto asset, it's a mirror held up to our collective hopes and dreams about the future of value. In a world where technology is rapidly transforming the way we interact, transact, and even think about money, bold ideas are essential. They force us to question the status quo, to explore new frameworks, and to imagine a future that is as. These interviews remind us that while the claim may seem fantastical, it's part of a broader dialogue about how we determine value in an increasingly digital world. It's a conversation that blends art, science, and economics, a conversation that is very much alive today. In the realm of digital currencies, community is king. The Pi network, like many other projects, has built its identity around the strength of its community. From lively online discussions to grassroots meetups, enthusiasts are constantly sharing ideas, debating theories, and envisioning a future where their chosen digital asset achieves global recognition. One of the most fascinating aspects of this ecosystem is how narratives are constructed. The narrative of 1 pi equals $314,159 isn't just a random statement, it's a rallying cry. It represents the hope that the collective belief in an asset's potential can one day make that asset a cornerstone of global finance. This isn't a new idea. Throughout history, many currencies and commodities have seen their value reimagined by the stories told about them. Consider the rise of fiat currencies. What began as a system of paper notes and coins gradually evolved into a complex web of economic, social, and political agreements. In much the same way, digital currencies are not solely about numbers on a screen. They're about trust, consensus, and the shared belief in a future where digital assets hold real-world value. When you see a bold statement like GCV World will agree with this price, it's an invitation to think bigger, to imagine a future where the decentralized, community-driven value system becomes the norm. It's a vision of a world where value isn't imposed from above, but emerges organically from collective human belief. To better understand our current discussion, let's take a step back in time. Throughout history, numbers have held deep symbolic meaning. In ancient cultures, numbers were often seen as having mystical properties. The Pythagoreans, for example, regarded numbers as the fundamental building blocks of the universe, capable of unlocking hidden truths about nature and existence. This reverence for numbers is not confined to the distant past. Even today, we see this in practices ranging from numerology to the use of lucky numbers in business and politics. When we encounter a figure like 314,159, it's hard not to be reminded of the wonder and mystery that numbers can evoke. And in our modern digital age, where algorithms and data reign supreme, the symbolic power of numbers takes on new dimensions. Imagine a world where economic value isn't just about supply and demand, but is also influenced by the cultural and symbolic significance of numbers. That's the world some proponents of the 1 pi equals 314,159 idea envision. A future where mathematical elegance and market dynamics converge to create a new paradigm for value. While this vision may seem idealistic, it's a reminder of the enduring human desire to find meaning in numbers and to see patterns that connect the abstract with the tangible. It's a narrative that challenges us to rethink how we assess worth in a complex, interconnected world. As we look toward the future, one thing is clear. The way we define and exchange value is undergoing a profound transformation. The digital revolution has given rise to community-driven economies, where the consensus of a global network